Good morning, Delaware. It is a red, white, and boom weekend. I hope everybody has a wonderful 4th of July. Good morning, Nicole.
Good morning, George.
It's great to see you here.
And also, happy birthday this weekend.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
There is one thing, aside from red, white, and boom, that we're celebrating, too.
Yeah. Well, I think it was Dave Barry who said there's an age at which people should stop expecting other people to celebrate their birthday, and that age is 17.
No.
Well, anyway.
I'm happy you're alive.
Well, thank you. Is it only one day a year, though, that you're happy I'm alive?
A little more.
You're hearing the chuckles of Mark Bingaman behind the board for us today. Good morning, Mark.
Hey there, how are you?
It's great. I'm just great. Great to be here. Great to be alive.
Yeah.
This many years later. Our guest today is Warren Hyer, the Central Ohio Symphony's executive director. Hey, good morning, Warren. How you doing?
Good morning, George. Good morning, everyone.
It's
Hello.
great to have you here. We are going to be talking about a big concert that's coming up. Well, we're going to talk about several concerts that are coming up because, of course, you've got a big 4th of July thing, but we also have one at the Ostrander Branch Library we want to talk about. So we'll be talking about that in the second half of the show. Ordinarily, in this first half of the show, we would be talking about books we are enjoying. Or maybe it's a movie, or maybe it's a TV series. But we had a string going on email at the library the other day about books we hate.
Books you love to hate, too.
You love to hate, yes. Or as it was called when Katie Height started this off, books we didn't love. So maybe it does not hate, but we just maybe didn't care for them so much. And we had so much fun with this. I thought we could devote a little bit of our show to this because we had so many interesting things that were kicked back. I'm not going to mention these people by name because I did not ask for their permission to quote them on the show, but we had some great quotes here. So one of our people was talking about All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr, very popular book. And she wrote, "It had me hooked. I just kept reading and reading, and then, wait, that's it?
Book over? Right.
So...
I thought that this was a particularly interesting thread because, librarians, we read a lot of books, but there's got to be ones that aren't great in there. And a lot of times we get, our recommendations from Goodreads or other, online places. So one staff member said that the reviews on Goodreads, were so good for this one. She was hoping it was going to be great. It was called The Particular Sadness of Lemon Cake. We couldn't put it down. But it's a really messed up book, and she went on Goodreads to validate her feelings to make sure that, am I crazy thinking that this is the weirdest book ever? And it was, as one reviewer said, a bizarre novel, but certainly not in a good way.
One of our staff members read Shaunda Rhimes' book, Year of Yes, How to Dance It Out, Stand in the Sun, and Be Your Own Person. And she said, Shaunda Rhimes makes great TV, but horrible books. From the bashing specifically of librarians in the intro to her explanation that the way to be a mom and have it all is to hire a nanny, I feel like the entire book is completely out of touch with the real world.
Yeah, the Year of Yes, how about no?
Yeah. Throw a little shade there.
How about no? And the fun thing about this list was, I think by the end of it, almost every staff member was insulted by something because there was some book that someone said, oh, absolutely not for that one. And then there were other people who were like, what? I love that title. So one staff member threw out Ender's Game, which we did a whole Delaware Reads year about. We brought Orson Scott Card to do a little Zoom with the community. And, the person who said Ender's Game said, I want my protagonist to struggle against adversity, not succeed every time. And she said, I just don't get it. She said, I have people stop me to tell me it's their favorite books and not feeling it.
I was one of the people who reacted badly to somebody who commented that they didn't like a book. Yeah, somebody put up that they couldn't stand The Midnight Library, which if you remember a few weeks ago, I reviewed it on the show.
Yeah.
I loved it. And at least two people on staff just were like, aghast that I liked that book, and then said they wouldn't hold it against me, fortunately.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
And it wasn't just current books. We had people who went back into their past. Somebody really hates The Grapes of Wrath.
I loved The Grapes of Wrath.
I love The Grapes of Wrath, too. Somebody else said Howard's End by E.M. Forster. Couldn't stand that. And if we're going to talk about classics, I hate J.R.R. Tolkien. I just cannot get into Tolkien.
I read Tolkien when I was in high school, and I felt like it was a gateway drug for reading.
So, Warren, we were talking before we went on air. You were thinking more of a genre or a type of book rather than a specific title.
That's right. I would have to say that I'm not into fantasy or fiction.
So
and
no
fiction at
Tolkien for
all.
you.
Not particularly.
Okay.
I don't have a lot of time for reading, but I like things that have a particular connection, maybe to history or maybe a little more technical.
Sure.
So those are my kind of my area of interest.
Yeah.
And that's why the library exists, because we have stuff that some people would just be aghast at. I like that word. I'm going to use it again. And other people would just love. And so we have to have something to appeal to everybody, but also something that other people go, who on earth would read this?
Yeah. Katie Hite was our staff member who initiated this whole sequence. And I thought it was funny because the one that I wrote that I, love to hate is Wild by Cheryl Strayed. And so many people love this book. It's an autobiography. She, basically says that she went on this life-changing hike of the Appalachian Trail. And, maybe it was the Pacific Trail. And she was, ill-prepared for it and, comes out changed on the other side. She didn't come out changed. She was still selfish, and I was like, there was no life change there. She came out, and she was still not a good person.
Just not enough change.
Yeah, exactly. Moderate change.
Yeah, you could have changed more and better.
Yeah, and Katie wrote back to me, and she said, "Ooh, I like this hot take."
I like what somebody wrote about Everything is Illuminated by Jonathan Safran Foer. She said, this might be the first book I've ever read that's actually not as good as the movie. So and I see what the author was trying to do, and I really appreciated the multiple perspectives. But I hated the shuttle stories.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I have that feeling about Gregory Maguire's Wicked. I got into the musical before I got into the book. And when I finally did read the book after knowing the musical, I was like, oh, this book stinks. Thank goodness they made it into a musical.
It was so different, the book and the music. I mean, I read the book when it first came out, and I read several of his other takes on fairy tales and fantasy stories, and enjoyed them very much. But I just consider those two completely different things.
You can't,
I don't, Wicked the book and Wicked the musical are just so different. The one thing that I agree where the movie's better than the book is The Godfather.
Okay.
The Godfather's not a bad book. I mean, it was incredibly popular when it came out, but the movie is a classic.
Yeah.
All three of the Coppola ones are just, unbelievably classic movies. So a good example of where they made a better job with the movie. So
There was one staff member shared that she does not like Where the Crawdads Sing, and I bet that has the entire community going.
The movie's out right now.
Is it coming out?
I think so.
She was just basically saying, can you imagine a world where a child raises themselves to not only be literate, but entirely healthy? Did she ever see a dentist or a doctor? Beautiful, and capable of writing textbooks while living in an isolated marsh. The whole book is a wild fantasy, and it gives Manic Pixie Dream Girl a whole different spin. And the community loves it because we are preparing to build our Liberty branch, and we asked the community for their favorite titles and authors so that we can make kind of like a word wall, and this was one of the top ones named. So sorry.
Somebody else wrote about Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid.
Yeah.
I didn't finish this. I got a few chapters in, and I felt like the character Mick was so slimy that I didn't want to spend any more of my time with him.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, occasionally you'll get a book where you just go, ugh. Yeah, and I got to go take a shower when I was reading it.
Right.
The other interesting thing was I found out some interesting things about staff that I didn't know. Like one of our staff people is the only other one I know on staff is an old-time radio fan because he was very unhappy with what James Patterson did with the character of the Shadow. And I found out that this guy likes old-time radio. So when I was at that branch a couple of weeks ago, he and I got to talk about that for quite a while. So anyway, as I note, there is something for people to love, and there is something for people to really be aghast at the Delaware County District Library. So make sure you come in and make your own selections. That's what we're there for.
Right.
So that you can think for yourself, not for us to tell you how to think.
And just because our staff have it on a staff picks doesn't mean it's the pick for you.
Exactly. So we will be right back to talk to Warren Hyer about some big upcoming performances by the Central Ohio Symphony. So stay tuned.
79 degrees in the parking lot at the Orange branch of the Delaware County Library. 77 at the Ostrander branch. I checked in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Boy, Mark's been busy running around to our branches with his thermometer, isn't he?
I heard Mark talk to his phone in the break to get the temperature, and I want to be like your Google assistant to have your sweet, sweet voice say, "Hey, Google, tell me the temperature."
Mark has just the greatest radio voice. And last week when it was him and Bob Allen doing the morning show, I just was like, I was in ecstasy just listening to those two guys. Those great voices. So,
Oh, thank you.
well, you're welcome. And now on to another great voice, Warren Hyer. How you doing?
I'm okay. No match for Mark, though.
Let's start by talking about the July 4th concert, because that's the one that's coming up immediately, and then we'll talk about what's going on at Ostrander. So you've got the 36th annual. Almost annual.
We'll call it annual.
We'll call it annual.
2020 doesn't
It
count.
would be 37, but it's actually 36,
Right.
because of a couple of years ago.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, we were doing this for a long time on the campus. We think that through that period of time, we've had somewhere around 180,000 people come to the concerts.
That's
so
amazing.
it's a marvelous event where everybody just comes together. We do a little drawing card where people can get sign up for, see if they can win a pair of free season tickets.
Mm-hmm.
We count more than 30 communities around Ohio, and we even see a lot of people from out of state. from
Oh,
time to
where
time.
people are coming from
Yeah.
when they fill out the cards.
Right.
That's amazing.
It's great data to have and always show where it's from. But Delaware County. But as far as Urbana, there was a fellow up in the Medina area who owned a newspaper, and he would write about the concert every year in the Medina newspaper. So it was kind of neat. Yeah.
That's amazing.
And I heard Mayor Riggle invite the folks from Plain City over for our fireworks this year, because Plain City's had to get canceled. Their contractor backed out.
Oh, man.
At the last minute, literally like this week. So they had to cancel their fireworks. So Mayor Riggle was on the radio this morning on the Breakfast Club to invite Plain City residents to come to Delaware. So you may get more people from Plain City for this concert.
That's great.
So
Sister City.
Sister
Yeah.
City's right. So anyway, so then
Are there any big like new things coming this year, or is it I love for 4th of July, I love same old. I mean,
Right.
get me the William Tell Overture, or get me the
Stars and Stripes
Stars and
Forever.
Stripes Forever, yeah.
Right. We have a couple of things. One is we're going to do a medley of tunes from Jurassic Park.
Some
why
John
not?
Williams, yeah.
It seems to me like this is a good year for doing that. A new not a new arrangement, but new to us, an arrangement of actually music from Wizard of Oz.
Oh, that would be
Yeah.
wonderful.
yeah.
And part of it has a great tuba solo in it, which is kind of fun. So
You rarely get to hear a good tuba solo.
we need more tuba solos. Rather have a timpani solo, but tuba solo.
Right.
Right. And then a lot of it is things that we've done through the years, but things that you don't always hear every year. We will start with the fanfare for the common man, where we bring the flags in, and of course the Star Spangled Banner. And I think that probably the two guest things that we have this year is that Tom Bosco from Channel 6 and 28 will be our host.
Wonderful.
And then Meredith Keller, who graduated in 21 from Delaware Hayes High School, is going to be our soloist.
That's amazing.
So
the
she'll
year I
sing-
was the host for the July 4th
That's
show
right.
was like the primo event of that year for me. I just loved being part of that concert.
You got to be right there, like
Yeah.
right in the center
Oh,
of it.
The sound when you're sitting in the middle of the orchestra is just unbelievable. Sorry, Warren, I didn't
Oh,
mean
that's
to
all right.
interrupt.
So I was just going to say Meredith is going to sing the Star Spangled Banner. She's going to sing God Bless America, and then America the Beautiful just before we head to the 1812 Overture.
And we've got the blasts at the
We've
end.
got the blast all set. That's what
so good.
That's what the fire department tells me. Although there's a new one this year, so we're going to kind of grade him and to see how well he does in getting it right on time.
Oh, a new blaster?
Yes,
Oh,
apparently. So.
that's exciting.
Yeah, I haven't met him yet, but we have an orchestra musician who sits there and watches the music, and when it goes by, and she says, "Now," and
Go.
you hit the button, and it goes.
That's awesome.
So
So that's the 4th of July.
right, and then less than a week later, on Friday, July
Right.
8th, you're going to have a brass band concert at our Ostrander branch.
Right, it'll be actually brass quintet.
Quintet, okay.
Right, and we have a group within some of the orchestra members called the Village Brass.
Okay.
They do a lot of playing in the Columbus area, but several of the members are members of the Central Ohio Symphony as well. So they were going to be at the Ostrander branch on Friday at 7 p.m., probably outside. People can bring their chair and enjoy it. There's no charge for it. It is underwritten by, among other things, the district library is our partner in it. The Ohio Arts Council and the Delaware County Foundation are all helping to make this happen.
So what kind of music will people hear at a Village Brass concert?
Well, in this particular case, they're going to be probably a little bit of Scott Joplin, so you'll see some ragtime.
Yeah.
Nice.
A little bit of John Philip Sousa, probably a march or something along that line. Some Stephen Forster, so kind of 1800s popular music. I encourage them to do an arrangement of Amazing Grace, which has another really great tuba solo.
Tuba solo. You're not partial.
No. Actually, I usually sit close to the tuba player often. Probably something along the line of Pink Panther.
Fun.
Putting on the Ritz. One of the things that they said that they're really looking forward to doing is a medley of what they call one-hit wonders from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s.
Oh, cool.
And I have no idea what's in it, but probably everything that you can imagine is in there. So.
Man.
That's going to be a lot of fun. I think that it just makes me want to get out my straw boater and my barbershop
Oh
quartet.
yeah. Put on
jacket
your stripes.
Yeah.
You gotta wear your what is that called? Yeah, your white and blue stripes. Get them ready. Put on your hat.
So
And they're a fun group. I mean,
Dapper days.
and they're very approachable. I mean, they'll interact with the audience and do lots of fun things like that.
Yeah. The branch will be open, I've been told, for restrooms for sure.
Great.
And yeah, we're hoping that the weather holds out so that we're able to do it all outside on the lawn and basically.
What's that?
Yeah. we're just gonna go inside only if we need to use the restroom.
right.
Yep.
That's it, because that branch is not exactly huge.
No.
But if we have to, we can move it inside. So,
No, but it is a great friendly branch.
It is.
I like going out there, and
Yeah.
Carla and the staff are just great to talk with and interact with. And we've done lots of things through their drumming circles and things like that through the years. And it's just enjoyable to go there.
So Warren, when do we get to hear what's coming up for the new season?
Well, actually, on Tuesday night, we did a performance at Asbury Church in Delaware.
Yes, I wanted to ask you about
with
that.
the theremin soloist and the harpsichord soloist, and we actually announced the season then.
You did.
Yes. So
Okay.
we have 5 dates next year, one in October, November, December, early March, and right at the beginning of May. And we have some great soloists, great music. I don't know how much more you want me to tell you, but
This past year, you had a good mix. You had opera. You had
Right.
different featured instruments. Will we kind of see a plethora like that?
yes, you're going to see a combination between smaller works, many of them by contemporary composers, women composers, African American composers, Latino composers, and guest artists. But then we're also kind of matching each one of the big concerts up with a major symphony
Okay.
as well. So you're going to hear Tchaikovsky, Brahms, and Beethoven, but lots of things that are a little bit shorter but easy to get hold of.
You can't go wrong.
Listen to, right.
I've been a season ticket holder for a while with the Columbus. The Central. I'm not a season ticket holder with the Columbus Symphony, but with the Central Ohio Symphony.
You're good. George.
It's just, and it's. I don't know how to describe this, but I think people will underestimate if they haven't heard the Central Ohio Symphony. The first time you hear them, you're sold because it is such a good group, and just amazing musicians. And the conductor is just terrific.
Aimee is just
Aimee is just great. Yeah.
tremendous. Not only in terms of a person, but his musical skill and everything is just phenomenal.
Yeah, he's and watching him interact with the musicians, it's like seeing a really good theater director or somebody who just knows how to work with people.
Just like a really great book.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
He pulls all the
That was a
parts together
good
to make
tie.
a wonderful whole. Yes.
A good tie-in. Yeah, and I loved, a theremin. That's amazing. If you don't know what a theremin is, look it up on YouTube.
Or just listen to the Beach Boys' "Good Vibrations."
Yes,
That's
exactly.
the
The opening key.
A theremin, though, that's played well, does not sound like the one in the "Good Vibrations."
She is an incredible soloist. Both of them were on Tuesday night. Just amazing.
Well, Warren, thank you so much for being here. We've got a couple of other things coming up at the library this week of the 4th of July. Of course, the library will be closed on the 4th, as you may have guessed. We have new story walks going up at Orange, Ostrander, and Powell this week. That changes monthly there, quarterly at the Delaware Library. We also have Taco Tuesday coming up at Ostrander.
That's right.
Our Kids Cookbook Club is going to focus for kids 6 to 11 on helping to prepare delicious tacos. That's Miss Lori's program, and she just does a wonderful job with that. I love
Yeah.
Taco Tuesday at the library.
You do need to pre-register for it. Space is still open, as I last checked, and it's going to be a really good time. Kids go in and they learn how to cook for themselves, which is great life skills. Chick hatching is going to begin this week, also at Ostrander. So we anticipate somewhere between Wednesday and Friday, those chickies are going to be coming out of their eggs.
I hope they can sing along with the brass.
Well, that would be fun, yeah. And then whenever they come out, they're going to be at the branch for another week after that. So never fear, if you're out of town this week, you will still have time to see the chickies once they come out of their eggs.
That's right. We've got another visit by Renuka, our henna artist. She's going to be at the Orange Branch Library on Wednesday from 4 to 5:30. And this is basically a teens program, but anybody can come and learn about the art of henna, very ancient art of body painting. Not permanent, but can be very long-lasting and is incredibly beautiful. And she tells great stories about the art and the history of henna as she does the work.
It's one of the oldest documented cosmetic uses that we can find in history.
That's right.
Yeah. Also on Wednesday, we are having Sog Betty back at the Delaware Main Library. This is an evening performance at 6:30 p.m. It's really great for all ages. Sog Betty Diamande is a West African drummer. He has been a resident on Disney cruises. He toured with, I want to say, like someone crazy, like Jimmy Buffett or something like that. And he's gonna be playing his drums.
That sounds like a lot of fun. And we've had Sog Betty before, and always a real crowd pleaser. So I'm sure you'll enjoy that concert as well. So we are still in the middle of Summer Reading Club. There is still time to jump in. The attendance at programs has been crazy.
Massive.
This week we had a farm animals petting zoo at Orange, and we counted 650 people there in the 2 hours that program was going on. That is amazing.
But yeah.
We had 140 people for Magic Nate at the Delaware Library this week. So we've got another great magic program coming up. And in fact, we're going to be interviewing the Allens, the magical couple, on next week's show. So, we still have time to get involved in Summer Reading Club, but time is slipping away, so don't let it get away from you.
Yeah, come in and pick up your 6-hour prizes. Adults, you can still come and pick up your little mini tote bags that we have for you. And there's still prizes as they are left.
Yes, there are. So lots of good coupons for various organizations around town, too, for your 6-hour prize. So we hope to see you. And so, Nicole, thank you very much.
Always a pleasure.
Warren, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome. Looking forward to being in Ostrander.
I really love the work we get to do with the Central Ohio Symphony. So thank you very much to you and all your musicians.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks. Mark, great to have you behind the board.
Sir, thank you.
It's always a pleasure working with you. So for another week, happy Independence Day, and we will see you in the stacks.